Welcome back. Day 21. Today is a rest day, but I want to talk about a hot topic that I get asked a lot. So no stretching today. Obviously, I do recommend that you stretch on your own if possible, but what I want to do is talk about food. So the last few videos, you've heard me talk a lot about nutrition. Obviously, you know that diet is 90% of weight loss. However, knowing what to eat and when to eat is very, very important as well. A lot of questions about intuitive eating versus intermittent fasting. What are they? What's the difference? How do I know what's right for me? I'm here to tell you. Obviously, hiring me as your personal trainer, nutrition coach, and life coach, I really emphasize the personal of personal training, which means during your free consultation that everybody gets, it's a 1-hour phone call. Doesn't necessarily have to take an hour. It's really up to you, but I do allot that for anybody who has extra questions for me. During that time, I ask a lot of questions. I have a series of questions that I go through asking. The big one is, what time do you first start getting hungry or have your first meal? Now this one is tricky, but it's very important. Most people don't have a first meal a day until around lunchtime. Now there's one or two reasons why that is. One, your body just may naturally not be hungry until later in the day. Or two, if you are drinking caffeine first thing in the morning, then your body's definitely not going to be hungry. Because, like I've said before, caffeine is an appetite suppressant. It's actually really hard for the body to digest. That's why when you drink coffee or an energy drink, you have to run to the bathroom really quick. It's because your body's trying to get out the caffeine. Now, doing black coffee and only 8 ounces, totally fine, right? Some caffeine is okay. You've heard me talk about before how with ulcerative colitis, I can't have caffeine because it's hard for the body to digest. But I have mentioned in my chronic fatigue tips, I mentioned a tea that has 75 milligrams of caffeine in it. Now, even women who are pregnant can have 75 milligrams of caffeine, but that's it. So essentially, if women who are pregnant can drink it, or if I can drink it, then it's healthy for you. You've heard me say this a lot in the past. Start your day off right. Whatever you do first thing in the day is what your body is going to crave and want to do the rest of the day. So if you could wake up 5 minutes earlier and do your morning routine that we learned the last rest day, you're really going to get your body prepared and awake and alert, and you're giving yourself something to start the day off, which means the rest of the day you're going to be making better decisions. Just like that, or going for a walk first thing in the morning, that will definitely get you in the mood to be more active that day. Same goes for what food you're eating. So whatever you first put into your system in the morning is what your body's going to crave the rest of the day. That's why it's the important meal of the day, right? It's not about the time, it's about what food. So if the first thing you're doing in the start of your day is giving it caffeine with sugar and creamer, fat, then your body's going to crave that caffeine, that sugar, and that cream, milk, right, dairy, the rest of the day, which it's not going to set you up for success, let me tell you. Let's say you don't drink coffee. What time do you get hungry first? If you are like me, and as soon as you wake up or within the first hour, you're starting to get hungry, then you have a higher metabolism, which means intuitive eating is going to be more appropriate for your body. Intuitive eating means you're eating when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. Intermittent fasting is a little bit different. Let me explain what that is first, and then I'll explain the benefits to it and why I recommend it to most people if their answer to my question about when they first get hungry is later in the day. So, like I said, intuitive eating is only eating when you're hungry. Intermittent fasting is only eating 8 to 10 hours a day. So you're leaving 16 hours or so of not eating. Where people go wrong is they don't do the same 8 to 10 hours every day. And also where they go wrong is they're not eating a full day's worth of meals in that 8 to 10 hours a day. The reason why intermittent fasting is so successful and very popular right now is when you eat food and certain types of food, your body's going to produce insulin. Insulin is hard to break down in the body. And if you're constantly eating, then your body doesn't have enough time to process that insulin, which is going to create fat. If you're only eating 8 to 10 hours out of the day, and ideally it's 8 hours, but I always tell people you have about an hour before and after kind of as a wiggle room, and everybody's different. If you're only eating 8 hours a day, then your body has 16 hours to process that insulin. However, sometimes it's really hard to push through through and get to noon before you can have your first meal. With that, I say, first of all, adding BCAAs or branched chain amino acids, which is a powder. You can get that at gettruesups.com as well. Discount code for CAFIT. If you put BCAAs in your water, that also acts as an appetite suppressant, also helps give more natural endurance and helps with muscle recovery. No matter what, I always recommend doing that. You can get enough amino acids through fruits and vegetables. I have a great green smoothie actually that gets all of that. But maybe you don't eat enough vegetables, or maybe you just need a little extra help, because sometimes you do, right? Everyone's different. The other thing you can do if you're struggling to wait until that hour that you're allowed to start eating is you can do 8 ounces of black coffee or some kind of caffeinated tea. However, the point in waiting until your first meal is that you're not introducing nutrients into your body until that time. Cream and sugar are nutrients. Not good nutrients, but there's something. So that's gonna throw off the intermittent fasting schedule, which a lot of people get wrong. How do you know what time you should be eating and what your window is? That's something that I also work with my clients on. I always ask, what's your work schedule like? What's your home life like? Right? What time of the day are you your most busy, and what time of the day do you have a higher percent of chance that you can eat? Because one of the biggest things that I hear from my clients is that they don't have time to eat, right? They are working all day and then they come home and then they have all their family stuff. In that case, what I usually do is provide a meal plan that is easy to eat at your desk, doesn't take any kind of reheating or complicated mess, right? I will kind of adjust their intermittent fasting window around the time that they are most likely going to be able to eat. So for a lot of people, that is from noon to 8. I've also had some people who they work nights or they're really busy at night, so I make it from 9 to 5. If you have a family, that's also something I consider, right? Because I want to make sure that my clients are still eating with their family, right? It's very important to have that time together. So I always make sure their last meal goes until their dinner time and maybe like an extra hour later, so that in case they want to, splurge or have, some kind of snack before they go to bed or some popcorn while they're watching a movie with their family, I want to make sure I'm adding that in. But it's super important that you're still eating a full day's worth of meals in that 8 hours. Very, very important. Your body needs fuel in order to have energy. You've heard me say this a lot too. If you are getting that energy through caffeine, you're going to be actually pulling from your muscles to get that energy, because your muscles have a lot of energy stored in them. So whenever you're feeling fatigued or tired or sick to your stomach, it's most likely because your body is eating at your muscles for that energy. I mean, just like your car needs gas just to drive down the street, I need fuel in order to do this, just to walk around. Right? Very, very simple. And then if you're adding on top of that a workout, your body is really depleting that energy really fast. It seems counterintuitive that you have to eat more in order to lose weight, but think of your body as the car. Your car needs fuel, it needs oil, it needs a lot of, I don't really know anything else about cars, but it needs a lot of extra things in order to run efficiently. Your body's the same way. Your body needs energy in order to process the good food, get it out, and get rid of that extra fat, as well as it needs that fuel in order to turn into muscle so that you can get bigger, right? If you're trying to gain weight. All that to say, it's all up to you. Don't do any kind of diet or live a certain way because somebody else is doing that. I highly recommend, if you're trying to change your life and create a happy and healthy life, hire a personal trainer. If it's not me, find somebody else. I know I'm not going to be for everyone. That's totally fine. Finding a good personal trainer is like finding a good therapist. That's why I offer an hour consultation with every potential client, just to make sure that we're getting to know each other and this is going to be a healthy working relationship. In that hour consultation, not only am I asking all these questions to get to know my clients, but then at the end, I go through their responses and give my recommendations on hearing their story and what kind of plan I would recommend for them, so that potential client can hear what my perspective is. Every personal trainer is different. We've all lived different lives, right? So we all have different experiences. I'm definitely more of a mental and emotional trainer than the physical. As far as giving this a try, I always recommend my clients please just try the nutrition plan at least 80% of 2-week period. So 80% of the week, I want you to be on this nutrition plan. That allows you to maybe not eat all of your food or have a cheat meal or two, have a drink or two, right? Or do, add something a little bit different. But if you can be 80% on any kind of a plan, whether it's working out, whether it's intuitive eating or intermittent fasting eating or an actual meal plan, you're gonna get a good representation after 2 weeks of what your body likes and what your body doesn't like. So if you wanna try intermittent fasting, it's not going to be perfect every day. Do the best that you can. If you can do it for 2 weeks, you'll notice whether or not your body likes it or doesn't like it. When I first started training, that's what I kind of recommended to people, was setting a timer for yourself every 2.5 hours or so. That way, if you can't eat right away, you know you need to eat soon. And then after you're done eating, you set another timer so you don't forget. That's the other thing. I used to keep my food right at my desk, so it was like in my sight as well as my water bottle, so I did not forget. But the timer also was a good one, especially when I was a mobile personal trainer and driving around everywhere. I get really distracted and forget when I need to eat. And having your meals prepared is also going to help you with ensuring that you're eating enough, and you kind of guilt trip yourself into eating all that food, so you're less likely to go off of your plan or eat something bad. And it's easier just to grab and go. You're going to fall off track if you have to prepare your meals every single meal. Let me tell you, when you're hungry, you start getting cranky, you start getting tired, so you don't have the patience to actually prepare food, portion it out, and eat it. It's kind of like going to the grocery store when you're hungry, you end up buying a lot of food that you don't need because you're hungry. Same kind of thing. So take 1 day a week to get your meals together. This can be very, very challenging, especially with what society has been saying to us that's good and bad. A lot of people do it wrong. I know I used to do it wrong. But again, if you could try to stick to anything that grows naturally, is going to be good for your body. So fresh meat, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, nuts, seeds, potatoes. So that means no processed foods, no sugar, no dairy, no alcohol, no caffeine, and most people, no gluten. All of those items create inflammation. If you have inflammation, then you can't go to the bathroom. If you can't go to the bathroom, you can't lose weight. This is all very, very overwhelming for a lot of people, especially if you are a busy person. So let me help. The number one priority needs to be meal prep. That's always got to be the first priority. If you only have an hour or 2 hours a week, make that your meal prep time. You can always add exercise later. But if you start with making the nutrition your priority, then you'll see more progress. You'll start feeling better, and then everything's going to start changing. All right, guys. Enough of that. That was a lot of information. We are going to be doing day 22 is going to be a leg day. We're stepping it up a notch. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I will see you tomorrow.